Hey, now it's the Rob from 1061 KISS FM here with my 16-bit colleague.
Hey guys, it's me, Steve, web contributor to 1061evansville.com, and just by clicking the play button, you've given us the responsibility to be your link to the past.
That's right, you sure have. Once again, we are the best dressed podcast on the internet for sure. Steve wins the shirt game today. That RKO shirt is out of nowhere, and I love that. Today we're talking about, well, we should probably preface this by saying, if you're watching this from anywhere in the world, we appreciate your viewership. We do broadcast live here in downtown Evansville, and we live in Evansville, Indiana, and we have a special one locally, close to the home here, Steve.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about some of the best places in Evansville and the tri-state area to get yourself some old games. There's some places to go.
Oh yeah, a few.
I'm going to throw one out there. My specific favorite to go right now is Super Mega Replay.
Yes.
That's a store I just love being in. It's a place I go to usually on Fridays just for fun.
Yeah. Because
I want to see what they've got in there, whether it be movies or, you know, Blu-rays, whatever you're looking for, books now too. They're my hookup for great old school games. One thing I like about Super Mega Replay when it comes to their old games, they've got a pretty varied selection.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when you go to used media stores, it's just like a mountain of sports games.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, they have their fair share of sports games. But they will kind of swap out the ones they display. And they're never displaying sports games. They usually, like, the rarer the game, the more it's like prominently featured. I like that about them. They know their stuff when it comes to video games too. I've talked to their staff there extensively about video games, and I appreciate what they do. So whenever I'm looking for something, the first place I go is Super Mega Replay.
Yeah, is it their practice not to buy sports games that are more than 2 years old?
I don't know the answer to that.
I think I've tried to sell a couple and they wouldn't buy them because of the age, which is neat.
I think that's the most frustrating thing about rummaging through video game stores is hey, you want Madden 98? I mean, there's 30 of them. And it's just like, I wish they would just kind of almost either dedicate a section to the sports games or just dedicate the trash can to the sports games. You know, I mean, they're great if you want, and you can get one for like 75 cents, but I don't, you know. But Super Mega Replay is my go-to. What about you? Where do you go first, or is it Super Mega Replay? Or
Super Mega Replay is one of the first places I look. One of my long-time go-to is Book Broker.
Book Broker was on my list. They have, okay, tell me why you feel that way.
I'm a loyal fan. I've been listening to KISS 106 for 24 years plus.
Oh, thank you.
Book Broker's been around that long. I've been going to Book Broker. I've been going to Book Broker back when I could get cassette tapes. So they got into video games. I mean, they have video games. They have books. They have action figures, sports memorabilia. It's just a cool place to go, and I mean, they have the wide variety of video games themselves.
Yeah, they do, and their staff is also very passionate about what they do, which I really appreciate. Like, there's some stores where I think they just hire whoever, and then there's some stores who really hire people who are interested in what they're doing.
Yes.
And they do that. They do that. I feel like, though, of all the things that Book Broker does very well, like the movies, I like how you can get like old board games in there too, and memorabilia you can find in there. I feel like video games are what they focus on the back burner, kind of. Like, you kind of have to go into a secret closet and look at the old games. Some of the more prominently featured ones are behind the glass, but I don't like the secret room. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I found their selection to be a little slow, but a place I also do go to. One more I wanted to mention that is still around is Book and Music Exchange. There are two in Evansville. There are a few in the area, but two in Evansville. The one on Washington, I find to have the best video game selection between the two. But the one on, what is that, Diamond?
Yes, Diamond.
The one on Diamond is not bad either.
Yeah.
They also hit that slump where it's like, they've got like 30,000 sports games and then a handful of other ones. But their prices are also so-so. Sometimes they'll, you might be paying upwards of like full price when a game was new out there, but their selection I feel like is on point, and also a good environment. I like that setting of there's used VHS tapes here, there's used DVDs here, used books here, used video games. I love stuff like that.
Yes.
So, do you have any more you wanted to mention?
not necessarily a place, but for some reason this area is notorious for this. My wife is a yard seller, and you cannot bypass a yard sale where you may find a shoebox of any kind of video game system games. I mean, you can go back from Atari, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, PlayStation. You never know what you're going to find at a yard sale. And I've probably found a dozen or more so games over time at yard sales.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, out of a shoebox. I've bought games out of a shoebox here in Evansville before. There are two more I wanted to mention, although they're not with us anymore. So I almost want to do like an in memoriam. The first is easily McMahon Video Games.
Oh, yes.
That place was great. Their prices weren't so great, but their selection was on point. Like, you wouldn't have to worry about all those sports games. The ones that they're showing are like games for gamers.
Yes.
Loved that. I really appreciated that. And then one more I thought worth mentioning, also not the best selection in town, a lot of sports games. But Joe's Records. Remember Joe's Records?
Oh, yeah. I knew Joe personally. So.
Did you?
Yes.
I thought he had a good couple of stores.
Yes, he did.
They're not open anymore, are they?
I'm thinking he has a store in Corydon, Indiana, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from here.
But none here in Evansville.
Yeah, none here in Evansville.
They had some pretty good stuff in there, too. So those are some places, if you're looking to find some old games, that Steve and I like to go to amass our collection. We missing anything? Did we get everything?
I'm sure we missed something, but we'll find it somewhere.
If there's places that we don't know about or places that we didn't mention, go ahead and leave us some comments. But until then, game on, everybody. For myself, the Rob.
And for Steve, thanks, guys.